What's up, YouTube? Thanks for clicking on the video. Today we're going to be talking about my recent experience with PSA and how they refused to grade my rare Pokemon card. So we'll get into all those details in just a moment. But first, I just wanted to give a small channel update. So I've loved my experience so far, creating videos for YouTube, sharing my collection and my purchases and my Pokemon journey with the community, and I've had an awesome time. I've really spent a lot of time trying to edit and make the videos awesome and put music in the background and do different cuts to take out dead time and to tell a story throughout and to really do a good job editing and putting together videos that I'm proud of and that just are well edited and well produced, and I hope that shows, and I think it does. I've had good success with a small channel. It's grown quickly, so I really do appreciate that, and I think that those efforts haven't gone unnoticed. But what it takes to produce those types of videos and something I quickly learned is it takes a lot of time, like a ton of time, hours and hours, to really fine tooth that and sit in Adobe Premiere and edit small clips and cuts and transitions and make sure everything looks great and put the text on the screen. And I just simply don't have time to do those types of videos right now. My work, my 9-to-5 job has really picked up recently, and I'm working a ton of hours. I just got married. There's a lot of things going on in my personal life, all good news, but just a lot of transitions in my family dynamic, my work life, and everything I'm trying to balance. I simply don't have time to edit those types of videos and produce that type of what I can, consider a little bit higher quality content. People may still think it's trash, but like I really spent a lot of time. I just don't have the time anymore. So moving forward, I am still going to create content. I'm still going to, put my best foot forward, try to tell a coherent story throughout my videos or put out content that I think people will care about, not putting out garbage by any means, but I'm just going to kind of scale back the amount of editing that I'm going to do. So there's a lot of people in the community that I really respect, and they just kind of turn the camera on and tell a story, look through some cards, and go from there. So that's kind of what we're going to do. Not sure if anybody cares about that update or notice, or just probably clicked off the video because they just want to see cool, crazy card, PSA, CGC, stonk. They just want to see what the algorithm wants to feed them. But I honestly don't care. I just want to show you a card that means a lot to me, tell you a story about it, and that's what I enjoy, and that's what we're going to do. So about 5 months ago, I made a video, which I'll put a link to in the description, that talks about and goes into depth on the history of the card that we're talking about today. So right here, this is the card that we're going to go that we're talking about today. This is the card that PSA refused to grade, and I'll talk about the details of that in a second. But you really should watch that video that's linked in the description to go into the history behind this exclusive Japanese promo release, and it's interesting. I find it interesting, and if you just want the details on that card, that's where to go. But so what happened with this card? So I bought it in, I think, of October of 2022, and very, very excited to buy it. So this is a card illustrated by Tomokazu Kamiya. So I collect all cards illustrated by Kamiya. He has been illustrating cards since the beginning in Pokemon TCG, starting with the Vending series. I think the first card he illustrated was the Farfetch'd from Vending series. I want to say that was a 1997 or 1998 release, and then released cards in Vending series and continued, and he's still active to this day. He's continued illustrating cards all the way up to the most recent English set, Paldea Evolved, and he's an OG. He's been around the whole time, and I love his cards, and that's what resonates with me. I love his artwork, and my collection goal is to collect all cards illustrated by Kamiya. So that's kind of the backstory of why I bought this particular card, and this card is you obviously will notice it's bigger than a standard TCG card. I don't have one right next to me to lift up and show you, but it is the size of a postcard, a little bit bigger. I think it's categorized as a jumbo or an oversized card, but this is a very rare card, more difficult to acquire in decent condition. I believe as of this time, there's only 9 authenticated in PSA's pop report. But as you'll see, as I'll tell you the details in just a minute here, that doesn't tell the full story. So, but what makes this card special is that it was released as a postcard. It was dropped directly into the mail back in 2000. You can see the year 2000 here. It was released as a part of a New Year's promo back in 2000 for a program that the Pokemon Company had going on. So it was released in 2000. It was dropped directly in the mail as a postcard. As you can see on the back, there is an address. That this card was literally dropped into the Japan Post, the collection box, and it just got mailed with no sleeve, no protector. Obviously, the address is scanned right in the back. It just went through the sorting system, and that's how it was distributed. So that's what makes this card special and unique and rare. That's one of the reasons why it makes it rare, in my opinion, is because of the release method. It's difficult to. I'm sure some of them may have got lost in the mail. They might have got smashed underneath other letters and packages as they were just being shuffled around. It's just a unique release method, and to have this make its way all the way from Japan to here, and it's in my hands right now in relatively decent condition. It's not like a gem mint card or anything. It's got some issues with it, but as you can see here, kind of holding it up, it's in decent condition, and to have it survive 23 years in decent condition to get to my hands is just a really cool thing, and part of what makes it rare and difficult to acquire. And so what makes this particular copy extra special compared to a lot of copies that are known or that are currently out on the market right now is that it actually still has the address visible on the back. And the reason why that is unique is because a lot of the copies that are being sold or that I am currently aware of have the address blacked out. They've got it marked out with Sharpie, tape, or whatever the case may be. And I speculate that that's because the Japanese sellers do not want their personal information out there, or that the Japanese sellers, before they sell it, they want to, hide their address if they, still live at that current location, and they mark it out with Sharpie or black it out. And that's just how a lot of the copies are that make it over into the secondary market. They're not sold without kind of having that blackout, or the Japanese sellers. You'll see some copies on eBay if you do a search. They will the cards will have the address not visible. They'll hiding it with a piece of paper or a card laid over it, so you can't tell whether or not that address is blacked out when you're viewing those eBay listings. Of course, you can ask the seller. They can either tell you or not. They probably won't respond. I've tried, before I bought this card, I tried multiple times and did not have success. So when I bought this card, I took a chance. I could not see the address visible or not visible on the back. It was blocked out with a piece of paper laying over on the listing. Bought it, got super lucky. So that is kind of the background there. That's what makes this card extra special, is because the address is still visible on the back and wasn't messed with, tampered with before it was sold to me. So like I said, at least 3 of the copies in the PSA population report, I have confirmed with the owner that they have addresses blocked out on them. I do know the PSA 10 copy that's in the population report, the owner has confirmed that address is not blocked out, as well as we have a confirmed PSA 7 copy that I'll pop an image up here on the screen that is intact, because we see images on it. It was sold a few years ago, I believe, on PWCC. So that's kind of the backstory. So what I wanted to do with this card is I wanted to get it slabbed. So this is not for sale. It is a personal collection item. It is kind of the top of my collection, or one of the most important cards in my Komiya collection. So it is not for sale. The reason I'm not grading it to flip it, I was just sending it to PSA to get authenticated and to get it slabbed, to get it protected, to make it more easily displayable, to really protect it. So that was my goal when I sent this card in to PSA to get authenticated. So I sent it in at the $75 level around, I think, June 20th. Package got received, it opened, entered into PSA system June 21st, moving really quickly. That's awesome. But a few days later, about a week later, I think I got a notification, or I was checking the status, checking the tracker online, and it in the item description it said no grade, no charge. So obviously that's not good if you've ever graded cards with PSA in the past. If they won't grade something for whatever reason because it's fake, or if it is tampered with, or whatever the case may be, some items they don't grade, and they give it that designation. I believe they say N9, do not hold, no grade. So saw that, obviously not great. My first gut feeling, or it was like a punch to the gut, because I was like, oh no, did I get scammed and buy a fake copy? Is this not an authentic copy? Because I had no idea. I bought it from a Japanese seller. It looked real in my hands. The texture, the signs of aging seemed legitimate. So I immediately thought, oh no, like the worst case scenario, this is a fake card. I just got completely screwed. So I called customer service, and they told me that they would not grade this card because it has an address visible on the back. So I was going back and forth with customer service. I was like, that doesn't make sense, because you have graded copies in the past with the address visible in the past, and here's a cert number, and here's a photo of that card. So on the phone, I provided I looked up online, I provided the cert number of the PSA 7 copy that I got here on the screen right now, which was actually kind of annoying at first, because I was like on the phone talking with PSA. I was like, can you just look up in the pop report, take a look at the certs? I know specifically the PSA 7 copy. I've seen pictures of it. I know the address is visible. Can you just pull up the PSA 7 cert on your end, check the images in the system, and tell me and just look it up? And they were like, no. Not only could, and I understand not every single cert up until recently was scanned before it was sent out. So I would understand if there were no images available of that cert, but this person couldn't even look up the cert, to even see if it existed. They couldn't even look up if they're, what the cert of the PSA 7, they just were like, I don't, there's a PSA 7, what? So they were like, can you look it up for me? So I'm on the phone. I'm super annoyed. I'm typing it in, trying to find this PWCC listing from 2 years ago that I know that I saw. And I absolutely positive I remember it, because I was actively searching for the card at the time. So I remembered it. And I'm Googling, and it's a PWCC doesn't have a great, in my opinion, way to look up sold listings on their site. So I'm on eBay, you can just sold listings, look at the cards, and it goes back a certain amount of time. But I was just having trouble. I couldn't look on PWCC, and I finally strung together the right combination of words to find it on a Google image. Clicked on the Google image, went to the link that the image was pulled from. It was like an article writing. It was a mess. So I had the phone in my ear, super annoyed, typing in online, and then he was like, email me the URL, and I'm sitting there waiting. I email him the URL in the support thread, and he's like, oh, he sees it, and he's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I see it here, and it's clearly got the address visible in the back. I'm going to email or I'm going to get in contact with our research department and provide them with this evidence and have them grade your card. And I was like, great. So I tried not to be too annoyed. Obviously I was annoyed and worried that it was fake, but the guy I think he was doing the best he could. Maybe he didn't have access to pull up the certs. That's a problem from the higher ups, not providing that access to their customer service employees to help the customers on the phone. But he was doing his best. He, tried to solve the problem with me. So I don't want to crap on him. I think his name was Brooks. So thank you, Brooks, for taking the time on the phone with me to actually get my question to the people who made the decision not to grade the card in the first place. So in any event, he sends the information to the research department, the people who made the decision, and they responded, and they responded in an email, and Brooks forwarded me the email that I'll put on the screen here. But then when I received the card back, in the thing that you never want to see, the no grade, no charge holder, the submission report also came with this message from per researcher. So I'll put that on the screen now, take a picture of it so you can read along with me. But it says, message per researcher. If you black out the address and resub, we will be able to process. Please do it properly. Nice card. Smiley face. So, Brooks told me, the customer service employee told me, got back to me later and was like, we're not going to grade it. The researcher said they don't grade cards with addresses. They just don't release personal information. That the one that you referenced, the PSA 7 copy, it just slipped through the cracks, and we should have never graded it. So unfortunate. I get it. It's a policy that makes sense to me. Like, you're not going to grade. Like, it makes sense not to release somebody's personal information out there. Like, I get the policy, but what's frustrating to me, in I wish I would have known that ahead of time, or else I wouldn't have sent my card in and waited the whole time for it to come back and just have it in their hands. I paid $19 return shipping for no reason. They wouldn't grade it, so I wouldn't have sent it in, if I wasn't sure and didn't have confirmed two confirmed copies that had the address visible on the back. So but that message for that little sticky note that they put on there, like, they asked me to black out, like, they want me to, their solution is to take a Sharpie and like damage the card and like take it out of its original state and scrub it out with a Sharpie and then resub it. And it's just frustrating, but it's just like a weird I just wanted to share this process with you. Like, I want to make it be known that I'm like, not FBSA. Like, I can't believe they didn't do it. Like, the customer service guy, Brooks, was nice. I think he did what he could. I get stuff like this happens. Something slipped through the cracks. They grade 1 million cards a month. And previously they let it go through the pipeline, and now they're not, or they tightened up the research department. They've added this rule. It is what it is. Like, stuff like this happens. I'm not going to blow my lid and like, I can't believe I can't get, like, I'll just grade it, slab it with CGC or Beckett. It's like, I am frustrated, but I don't want to like be some crazy off the hook person who's like freaking. It's just stuff like this happens. Take a deep breath. I'm going to move along, but I just really wanted to share that story with you and just kind of talk it through, make a YouTube video, toss on the camera and talk it through. So I think one other thing that is a consideration now coming into my mind is and wondering about, so the pop report, there's 9 copies authenticated, but now we know that that's I don't know if that's fully representative of like the true amount of the true amount that's out there or that's available, because there very well could be people like me who in the last couple of years have tried to submit these things and been denied. My gut tells me that this is still a very rare card just based on what's available online. The cards that have sold, the people that I know who own this card, just talking with them, I think it's a rare card, but it does have an interesting effect how that calls into question like the validity of that pop report, and it just does. So trying to wrap it up here. I guess to in conclusion, I'm just going to grade it with CGC or Beckett. I just want it slabbed. I want it to be protected and better, more easily displayable, and just protected in a nice slab. It is what it is. I'm considering taking it to the National Card Show in Chicago, and CGC is accepting in-person submissions there. I might just take it with me, say, just so there's no confusion, and fill out the submission report, have it graded and slabbed that way. But that is my experience. That's what I wanted to share today. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Just wanted to get this out there and just talk with people about it and put this out in the community and share my experience. I'd be interested to hear if anybody in the comments has had a similar experience, or if you own this card, if it's already slabbed and it doesn't have the address on their back, or it does and it's marked out or it's not. I'd be interested to know that information. Please put it down in the comments. This, all in all, I to look at the silver lining of this, I own the card. It wasn't deemed fake. That wasn't the reason. I was able to acquire this. I'm very happy to have. It's one of the best parts of my personal collection. I still own it. Like this is part of the journey, getting the ins and outs and trying to grade and deal with these grading companies is sometimes tough, and the customer service isn't great. But I think the bottom line is I still have the card. It's an awesome card, and I'm happy to own it. We're gonna wrap it up there. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me ramble. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy my videos, please leave a like and a comment. It really helps the algorithm, really helps the channel. I want to read your comments and engage with the community, and I always love doing that. So thanks again for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.